preliminary objection to the vetting of 3 Supreme Court nominees today. Our objection, which I would here put across, are as follows. That, Chairman, today this committee takes a single further step towards the vetting of 3 nominees of appointment as Supreme Court justices. The minority would want to put on record a formal preliminary objection to the manner and timetable within which the vetting is proposed to be conducted. This is not an objection to the principle of vetting. It is an objection to the nominee, neither is it an objection to the nominees as individuals. It is an objection grounded in the Constitution, the 1992 Constitution, and the standing orders of Parliament, to a process that, as currently proposed, cannot lawfully and safely be completed within 3 days remaining in this recalled sitting. We ask that this objection be resolved before this committee to proceed further, and that it appear on the record of these proceedings, regardless of how it is resolved. We advance 9 grounds. Each stands independently. Together, they are in our respectful submission conclusive. 1, ground 1, that there is no vacancy and therefore no exigency capable of justifying a compressed timetable. Chairman, the Supreme Court of Ghana presently sits with its full complement of justices. No seat on the bench is vacant. The 3 persons before this committee are nominated to add to the existing membership of the court, not to fill any gap left by death, retirement, or removal. This matters because the entire justification offered for compressing the ordinary vetting timetable is urgency. Urgency requires an urgent state of affairs. Where no vacancy exists, no functional urgency exists. The committee is respectfully urged to require the majority to identify precisely and on record what harm befalls the state, the judiciary, or any litigant if these 3 additional appointments are vetted with the same care that would ordinarily attend any Supreme Court nomination. We submit that no such harm can be shown because none exists. Ground 2, Order 21711 has been misapplied. But even so, Chairman, before I go into ground 2, we submit that since 1992, all Supreme Court nominees have gone through the regular period of notice where this committee advertises in the dailies for 2 weeks. It cannot be, and it must not be, that just Monday when Mr. Speaker announced the nomination as received from the President, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Parliament is supposed to vet. It is not our position that we are against any of nominees. Neither are we saying that the President doesn't have the constitutional mandate to nominate for Supreme Court. What we are saying is that your party in opposition, and I refer to the verbatim report of 2024, July. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, the transcript of appointment committee proceedings, 30th July 2024, and I use this transcript to support my ground 2. This is what was said by Honorable Mahama Ayariga, Member of Parliament for Boku Central, then in opposition. Quote, "We discussed this matter and said we don't want to embarrass these judges. It's a new appointment committee. Notice was served to the nominees to come without us having had a meeting. No meeting. Notice was served to the public to submit memos, and there was no meeting. Then yesterday we met, we said, quote, what is the rush? End quote. We have a lot of time. So let's take our time and not embarrass these judges. Let's do a decent job. We ask for documents. We ask for the writings and publications of one of the nominees. Then the other, who is the Court of Appeal judge, we ask for her judgment. You know how we always do it, so that we can study and do a decent job. And they wanted to even fix a date. Then the majority chief whip advised the two leaders to go and confer on the date. Chair, end quote. He goes further. We had these discussions nicely, and then we all dispersed yesterday, only to see during midnight WhatsApp exchanges that we were being someone as a committee to come and vet this book. Because of that, some didn't even go through their CVs. Now let me go to Honorable Ama Kofi-Boa, who was a deputy minority leader and a member of the committee. This is what he had to say. Quote, I was saying that first of all, why do we have a media here? The point has been made that the appointment committee met. We discussed these matters. We all agree that these appointments are important. These are lifetime appointments. And once they sit in the Supreme Court, there is no opportunity for any Ghanaian to try to revoke the appointment. These nominees are going to replace Supreme Court judges that are not going on retirement, some of them till November. So it was clear that we have time to make sure that as our standing practice of this House, we published this nomination by the President in National Daily and get memoranda from the public so that we can totally, the people of Ghana must be part of this process. It's a serious process. We all agreed. I mean, let the point be made. Nobody has anything against, but we must do the right thing. End quote. This is Honorable Ama Kofi-Boa, Deputy Minority Leader, who is now a Minister of State. Now let me go to my respected colleague, who is now the Finance Minister. He was the Minority Leader, Dr. Kasiel Ato-Forson. This is what he had to say as Minority Leader then. Quote, then let me make this comment. Honorable Leader, he was referring to the chair who is seated to my left, Honorable Patricia PJ. She was the Deputy Majority Leader and the acting chair of the committee. Yesterday, I said something, and today I'll refer to you as my former friend because I'm honestly appalled. This is Atu speaking. I'm appalled. You have broken the trust of the NDC Minority Caucus. You have committed a number of sins. I will tell you the sins that you have committed. Your first sin, you unilaterally wrote a letter to the nominees inviting them for vetting without the input of the appointment committee. That's their first sin. Sin number two, all your sins. Your sin number two, you wrote to the nominees certain Wednesday 31st after informing them that we are Wednesday 31st without our input. Then number three, after we met as committee, your third sin, after we met as committee and agreed that we'll do this vetting before we are recalled, so that during the recall, we will take them, you will take them unilaterally again and again. No, I'm enumerating all the sins that she has committed. And then you inform them that now you have shifted the goalpost from 31st. Then we even agreed to Tuesday, and going forward, you hold it and submit the report to the House. Madam, this is not Banana Republic. All these are words coming from Ato-Forson. This is the Republic of Ghana. This is the Black Star of Africa. This is Kwame Nkrumah's Republic of Ghana. Please don't destroy our democracy. This is coming from the NDC. At the minimum, you have to give us the opportunity to study the nominees and the people of Ghana must see us that we are doing our work. We cannot joke with this democracy. These are some of the things that we do, and the democracy elsewhere, they lose them. We will protect this democracy at all costs. You are putting somebody into constitutional office until the age of 70. All what we are asking is that advertise for a minimum of 14 days. Invite memoranda. So far, you have advertised for 4 days. Even the advert, you didn't tell us you were advertising for this. Advertise for 14 days. Give us opportunity to review the CVs. Today, you have called a meeting. Me, today, I have not even read anything. I would end it here. Chairman, to reiterate ground 2 of our submission, these are the words of your party in opposition. You insisted that Supreme Court nominees should at least have that 14 days minimum notice in the dailies. You told us that back in the day, on that fateful day, what you did was to stop the vetting. We are not going to be physical. We are going to be decent and put across our case to the nation. My colleague here who was chairing the committee was heckled. We reasoned with you. I was the majority leader. And I called Dr. Atuforsen aside, pleaded with him. Much as I tried, he said no. And on behalf of the government, I yielded to the prayer of the minority. So we called off the vetting. We apologized to the nominees. And we re-advertised for the 14 days before we finally did the vetting. So what has changed? You are saying that we must protect the democracy. We yielded to you because common sense required that we had to listen to you and not to insist that we are in government. We stopped. You said there must be 14 days. These were the words of the minority leader speaking for and on behalf of the NDC. These nominations came to the House on Monday. Referral was made to the committee on Monday. We had Tuesday. We had yesterday. And today we are to do vetting. We have Supreme Court judges and the respected Chief Justice right here. In all fairness, would they themselves feel right that Parliament is subjecting itself to these? Are we here to embarrass the nominees or carry a certain conduct and back with a political narrative? My colleagues in majority, no. Let's reason together. Let's be seen as having a principled political stand. Let's be seen as acting consistent with our political views. We yielded to you. We didn't allow ego to take over our conscience. So we yielded and asked the nominees to go back home. And at the right time, after advert, we did it. So if you want to follow that precedent, please suspend today's sitting. And let's properly put out the advert as you requested back then when you were in opposition. And let's allow 14 days. After all, the court is on vacation. 14 days, we can come back and do the work, receive memoranda, get our report ready even before Parliament resumes in October. Early enough for before the new legal year. We cannot continue to do this. I'm done with ground 2. Now let me go to ground 3. Ground 3. Order 21711 has been misapplied. It is our contention that Order 21711 requires this committee to report to Parliament within 3 days after the conclusion of its proceedings. That is a clock triggered by conclusion, a fact within the committee's own determination, not a clock that runs from the date of the referral or that compels conclusion by any particular date. No provision of the standing orders convert Order 21711 into a general instruction that vetting itself must be completed within 3 days or within the life of any particular sitting. Order 2674, by contrast, allows a committee up to 3 months to report on a matter referred to it. We submit, therefore, as minority, that Order 21711 cannot, on any proper construction, be read to shorten that general period to 3 days for 3 simultaneous Supreme Court nominations. Our next ground, that the composition safeguards in Order 2172 and 3 cannot be honored on this timetable. Chairman, we submit that Order 2172 requires the chairperson, ranking member, and 2 other members of the relevant subject matter committee to join this committee for each nominee considered. For the 3 judicial nominees, that is the committee responsible for constitutional, legal, and parliamentary affairs. For the 2 ministerial nominees, it is, in each case, the relevant sector committee. Order 2173 caps the resulting membership at 15. We therefore submit that properly reconstituting this committee 3 separate times for 3 distinct subject areas, whilst respecting the 15-member ceiling and the 1/3 quorum requirement in Order 2651, cannot be done with the rigor these orders contemplate inside 3 days without either breaching the cap, diluting the co-opted membership actual participation, or reducing what should be substantive scrutiny to a formality. Any of those 3 outcomes will render the resulting recommendation procedurally unsound. We further submit that the public participation safeguard in Order 21710 would be rendered nugatory or otious by your conduct of proceeding to vet these nominees today. And on that point, it's our submission that Order 21710 requires the publication of nominees' names in the newspapers of national circulation for the specific purpose of inviting memoranda and representation from the public. Chairman, I rely on Dr. Atuforson's verbatim submission of 30th July to support this submission without reiterating that point. It is the mechanism by which citizens, the bar, and civil society bring to this committee's attention anything material to a nominee's fitness for judicial office that this committee itself might not otherwise know. A publication made this week, followed by hearings this week, gives no realistic person outside this chamber an opportunity to research, prepare, and submit memoranda before this committee purport to conclude. We therefore submit that a safeguard, which as a matter of simple arithmetic cannot be used, is not a safeguard that has been complied with. It has been observed in form and defeat in substance. We argue further on a ground to the effect that no motion to suspend the standing orders has been moved. Chairman, on the floor, there was no such motion properly moved, argued, and resolved to the effect that any of our standing orders be suspended. What we know is that the majority, after we were done with business committee report meeting, claimed to have recalled the business committee to hold another meeting, whereupon they claim that they added the vetting of Supreme Court nominees this week, and that after the majority leader has presented his report, same was gavelled as having been adopted. Chair, never on the House floor have we had such a precedent where a business committee's report was used to override express provisions of our standing orders. The adoption of a business committee report and recommendation can never replace an express provision of our standing orders that require a motion to be properly moved. Chair, we further submit that it is only by motion, moved with the leave of the House, with reasons stated prior to suspension. No such motion has been moved in respect of Orders 2172, 3, 10, or 11, or of Orders 265, 266 or 2674 in connection with these three nominees. Every one of those orders therefore remain in full force today. We submit with respect that the committee or majority within it cannot achieve by mere scheduling what order 3 requires to be achieved by motion, debate, or vote. To proceed as though these orders had been suspended without the House ever having suspended them is not an exercise of discretion. It is a disregard of rules that remain binding. We invite you, Mr. Chairman, to ensure that this committee is bound by Order 217 in its unamended and unsuspended form, and to conduct these proceedings accordingly. Our next ground, that the constitutional preconditions to nominations under Article 1442 have not been shown to be satisfied. Chairman, we submit that Article 1442 of the Constitution makes the President power to nominate an ordinary justice of the Supreme Court conditional upon the advice of the Judicial Council and consultation with the Council of State. These are not procedural niceties. They are conditions precedent to a valid nomination reaching this committee at all. We submit, therefore, that before this committee proceeds to question any of the three nominees on merit, it should require the Clerk of Parliament or the Attorney General to confirm on record that the advice of the Judicial Council was in fact obtained and that genuine consultation with the Council of State in fact took place in respect of each of the three nominations. A truncated timetable makes it materially harder for this committee to verify that these upstream constitutional conditions were actually met, rather than merely asserted. This committee ought not to vet nominees whose own constitutional foundation has not first been confirmed. Our next ground, we submit that this exercise of discretion by the majority required to compress this timetable offends Article 296 of the Constitution. Chairman, Article 296 provides that wherever discretionary power is vested in any person or authority, that power carries an implied duty to be fair and candid, and its exercise must not be arbitrary, capricious, but must accord with due process of law. The chairperson's power under Order 2663 to fix the date and hour for considering a referred matter and the business committee's scheduling of this committee's business generally are both discretionary powers within the meaning of that article. We submit, therefore, that a timetable driven solely by the desire of the majority to conclude before this record rises tomorrow, unsupported by any demonstrated exigency, given that no vacancy exists, is not an exercise of fair and candid discretion. It is discretion exercised to suit convenience, political convenience, and it is, on that basis, vulnerable to challenge as arbitrary within the meaning of Article 296 of the Constitution. Our ground 8. Mrs. Chairman, the Speaker's own ruling on the nature of this recall fortifies our objection. And on this point, we submit that in his remarks opening this recall, the Right Honorable Speaker drew a distinction of direct relevance to this committee. He stated in terms that his determination to recall Parliament was not and must not be understood as a determination of merit of the matters placed before the House. He stated that the material before him at that stage was not conclusive and does not dictate what Parliament must decide. He stated that the responsibility to weigh these matters properly belong to the House itself. We submit, therefore, that this committee, exercising the House's delegated function under Order 217, is bound by precisely the same discipline the Speaker described. The admission of these nominees for consideration during this recall settles nothing about whether they are fit to be approved, still less about how quickly that question may responsibly be answered. A committee that treats the fact of the recall as itself an answer to the question of adequate scrutiny will be doing exactly what the Speaker cautioned this House against. And I must emphasize that this unfortunate situation is being advanced by the NDC majority. Now, our ground 9. The consequence of error here is uniquely severe and largely irreversible. Chairman, I submit on behalf of my colleagues that Article 146 of the Constitution protects a sitting judge from removal, save for stated misbehavior, incompetence, or infirmity, established only through an elaborate multi-stage process. Once appointed and sworn, a justice of the Supreme Court is for practical purposes in office for the remainder of a working career. Parliament's approval under Article 1442 is realistically the last substantive check this republic will ever exercise over that individual's fitness for judicial office. We therefore submit that a procedural shortcut which might be tolerable for an appointment more easily corrected is not tolerable here. The gravity and near permanence of office being filled is itself a reason, independent of every ground above, why this committee should decline to allow itself to be rushed. The majority must not use its super majority in terms of numbers to stampede this process. Democracy requires that they sit and reason with us and not muzzle its weight and powers and frustrate the views of the minority. Chair, for the above grounds as argued, these are the reliefs we seek from this honorable committee. The minority, led by me, pray this committee for the following. 1. Rule that, Mr. Chairman, determine that Orders 2172, 3, 10, and 11, as well as 265, 266, and 267, 4, remain in full force. No motion to suspend any of them having been moved or carried under Order 3. 2, we further pray that this committee resolve to decline to conclude its consideration of the 3 Supreme Court nominations within the life of this recall sitting, and instead adjourn that consideration to allow proper compliance with Order 2172 and 10 of our rules. 3, we pray that require confirmation on the record from the Clerk to Parliament or the Attorney General that the preconditions in Article 1442 of the Constitution have been satisfied in respect of each nomination. 4, is our prayer that this committee resolve to proceed in the meantime an unfair and expedited timetable with the vetting of the 2 nominees, which we have done, on which no objection of any kind was ever raised by us because there is precedence of the House to support that. And finally, record this objection and the committee's final determination in the report of the committee, ultimately as it presents to the House under Order 215. Chairman, with all said, I conclude on behalf of my caucus that this our objection is not being raised to obstruct the work of this committee. Neither is same being raised to embarrass any of the nominees before us. As we have already said, they are men and a lady who have worked all their life in service of our nation and even the sub-region. The president has the power and mandate to nominate them. We are not opposed to that nomination, save that when it was Akufo-Addo's time and he brought 3 Supreme Court nominees, your side argued that it amounted to the packing of the court. So as we speak today, you have nominated 7, Parliament has passed them, and these 3 added to it make it 10. So what has changed? Where is your principle? Now, the numbers to the Supreme Court are far more than it would have been if Akufo-Addo's 3 additional nominees had been approved by Parliament. So where is your principle of the packing of the court? Where is your principle? You have none. We so submit. A committee that vests a justice of the Supreme Court in 3 days, in the absence of any actual vacancy, in the face of standing orders that remain fully in force, and were never suspended, does not strengthen Parliament's constitutional role. Rather, it empties that role of its content. We ask that this objection be decided in our favor. The proceedings should not go further, and whatever the course this committee takes must know that it has gravity to order Article 144, Article 146, and Article 296 of the Constitution, as well as Order 217 of our own standing orders. The people of Ghana demand it. This is not a partisan demand because we are MPP minority. This is a demand from the people of Ghana. This is a demand that democracy requires of us. And Chair, we submit respectfully that this committee be resolved, that all these concerns be taken into consideration. We suspend the hearing and do the advert and come back and do the vetting. Until then, we tell you that, Chair, don't use your numbers to stampede this sound submission. Thank you very much.
Honorable members, our distinguished guests, I have sat and listened carefully to the objection raised by the minority leader. And it gives me much interest as how a lecture in metaphysics will give to a newborn baby. I said so because, honorable members, following a request by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, to recall Parliament to deal with specific items, a request that was contained in a letter emanating from the President dated 11th August 2026. 3 items were the basis of the President's request for a recall of Parliament. 1, the Banks and Special Deposits Taking Institution Act Amendment Bill 2026. 2, 2 nominations for appointment as Ministers of State for referral to the Appointment Committee, vetting, and consideration by Parliament. 3, 3 nominations for appointment as Justices of the Supreme Court for referral to the Appointment Committee, vetting, and consideration by the House. So clearly, the request was not only limited to the referral of the nomination of 2 ministerial nominees, vetting, and consideration by Parliament. It includes the referral of the 3 judges nominees, referral, and vetting by the committee. Based on these requests, Parliament was duly recalled to sit from Monday 24th to Friday 28th of August 2026. Honourable members, distinguished guests, accordingly, these referrals were made. And again, the referrals were not limited to that of the 2 ministerial nominees. It extends and operates to include the 3 judges nominees. Following the referral, there was a meeting held yesterday. The meeting was consequent upon the chairperson of the committee having a preliminary meeting with the minority leader to consider the request of His Excellency the President. We suppose to have the vetting on Wednesday, but it will interest you to know that at the instance of the minority leader, today, Thursday, 9 o'clock has been scheduled to conduct the vetting. We had a preliminary meeting yesterday, dealt with certain issues and concluded them. For me, that was the end. What was the issue raised and considered? I will go straight to the one that is relevant to the objection raised by the minority leader and how we dealt with the issue. The issue was to the effect that we should only consider our colleague ministerial nominees, 2 of them, but we should not consider the 3 judges. Based on the fact that there was no publication, and therefore we should not proceed to do the vetting of the judges. The committee resolved that the referral includes the 3 judges nominees. We cannot therefore discriminate in favor of our colleague nominees and against the 3 judges nominees. Therefore, we must take decision to vet all of them together. This was the decision of the committee. The further reason of the committee was to the effect that on Monday, when the business statement was presented, part of the business statement requested from the House to use Standing Order 3 to suspend the Order 217 of our standing orders in order to pave the way for us to deal with the urgent items based on which the request for recall was made, and the House was accordingly recalled. I have in my hand the provisional Hansard of Parliament of Ghana. I'm not tendering it, but to quote the relevant portion. Honourable members, Roxanne Nelson Kwame Eche Dapamako, the majority chief whip, raised the issue that upon the presentation of the business report, he wants to formally move a motion for the House to adopt, to waive the Standing Order 217 so that we can urgently consider the request of the President. Now, the Right Honorable Speaker, Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagby was the one presiding. And this is what he said. Once the request for waiver based on Standing Order 3 of the House was part of the Business Committee's report presented to the House, and the House having adopted the report of the Business Committee, there is no need acceding to the request of the Majority Chief Whip to move a motion to waive the Standing Order 3. Once the House has adopted the Business Committee's report, it means that the House has taken a decision to waive Standing Order 3 for the committee to consider these matters as a matter of urgency. Honourable members, when the committee takes decision, we present report to Parliament, and at the adoption of the decision of Parliament, Parliament at plenary has a right to vary the decision of the committee. However, if the House takes decision, no committee can vary the decision of the House. If you are aggrieved by the decision of the House, the method available for you to reverse that decision is contained in our own standing orders. Honourable members, distinguished guests, I will not preside over this committee and purport to vary the orders or directions or decision taken at the plenary by the entire House. It is not done in any democracy, and I will not be the first to introduce it in Ghana's democracy. Honourable members, I will not also preside over this particular committee and discriminate against the judges. Allow the vetting of our colleagues and then reject the vetting of the judges' nominee. I will not do that today. I won't do that tomorrow. I therefore consider all grounds of the minority leader as flimsy and hollow. I considered his objection to be frivolous, vexatious, unmeritorious, baseless on the facts, the rules, and the law. Therefore, I will accordingly dismiss the objection by the minority leader in limine. Thank you for your rapt attention.
Chairman, with the greatest respect to you, you don't have the power to dismiss a preliminary objection properly raised. You have responded to me. I have a right of reply, and then we put it to a vote. It's a decision. It is the House, the committee that must resolve. That is how we take decisions. Chairman, if we are talking law, let's talk law. It is not within your right to say you have ruled. You don't rule on issues that come. You don't have the power. There is no such power in our standing orders. Even as a speaker, when a motion comes before the House, he relies on the decision of the House. It is not a matter for a ruling that you will say that you've dismissed with all those adjectives. I won't go there. Let me remind you on some important issues and reply to your response to me. Issue 1. The House did not pass any resolution.
Honourable Minority Leader, with
you
all due respect, when you are making your submission,
I kept
you
quiet
called on me.
I didn't call on. I said resolve.
Rule
no,
on the
I
matter.
didn't say rule. I said resolve. Don't get me wrong. No, resolve.
Honorable Minority Leader.
No, please.
Let your microphone be off.
No, Chairman, don't start your thing. Don't start it. And then finish and think you can control narrative. We are being very decent. Don't try it.
Minority Leader.
Don't start it, Chairman.
You did not move a motion before the committee.
Chairman,
you raised a preliminary
you can't
objection.
Rule. It's not a ruling.
And the preliminary objection is supposed to be ruled upon by the rules of the House.
No, which rule? Quote it. Quote which rule? Quote the rule. Quote it. If the standing order is here.
Yeah, so
mine is here.
Take your
majority leader, take your time.
No, take your
majority leader, he's capable.
No, take your.
He doesn't need a lawyer.
Please.
Let him. This is it. Rule it. Open.
Take your
Open.
final orders.
You people are taking this majority thing too far.
Open to 268.
You guys are taking this majority thing too far. No, we've not finished the argument. He cannot. Stop it.
Patrick.
You've had power. One day you may not have the power.
268.
Don't do this.
No, 268.
You know, it's not fair.
Open it. 268.
Please, majority leader, no, stay out of this matter. Stay out of this matter. Which ruling?
Open to 268.
It is not within his right to rule anything here.
Please.
What is he going to rule?
Open to 268.
I moved. You didn't see. Yes. A motion. No. A motion was moved, registering our preliminary objection. A motion was moved. We had a meeting with the clerk and him in his office. You were there. We all agreed that the nominee for the Supreme Court should be done in October. Clerk, he was there. We all agreed that let's do the nominees. So what changed? What changed? Why are you always frustrating everybody? Why are you taking the majority too far? And when we talk, we become victims. Why?
Please.
Why? He can't rule.
Please. Okay.
We have to argue. It's a motion that we raised and stated our grounds.
Listen to others.
The preliminary objection was grounded on our motion. Don't do it.
You listen.
He did.
You listen.
You were my mate.
You listen.
You were my mate. I was called before you. I was called before you.
Chairman.
You were my steady mate. Chairman. And you know my law is unsoiled. So stop what you are doing.
It's very clear. Have you seen the order?
You know my law is unsoiled. You know, Eche. You know. Don't let politics, make you behave this way. I've raised. He cannot rule. He can't rule. Rule on what? It's a motion. He should tell me where he can rule. We have to take a decision and vote.
That person, please.
It's not fair. We have a right of reply. Let us reply. He shouldn't rush. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why are we doing this to ourselves? It's not fair. Your own position in 2024. Ayariga, you were there. You said 14 days. Why 3 days?
Honorable
Why?
Minority Leader.
And when we react, you start shouting and threatening us.
Honorable.
And you start to threaten us. What's going on in this country? What is going on in this country? Under a reset. What's going on in this country? In today, Ghana, you can't talk. You can't talk. They will threaten you, frustrate you. That's what you are doing. That is what you are doing. Maintain your own principle. Maintain your own principle. You act out of political convenience. Where is your principle? Ayariga is here. He said 14 days on the 30th of July, 2024. What has changed? Honorable Ayariga.
Let me explain what has changed.
Honorable members, I don't know whether my brother, the Minority Leader, has listened to himself. You never said you are moving a motion, but you said you are raising a preliminary objection. And all ears have heard you. So when you raise a preliminary objection, your preliminary objection must be ruled upon. That is different from you moving a motion for the House to take decision on the motion. So based on the fact that what I have heard and what everybody, member of the committee, have heard clearly is a preliminary objection being raised on the grounds, which grounds are therefore considered frivolous, vexatious, unmeritorious,
if you got it wrong,
hollow.
I'm straightening it.
Hollow.
I'm sitting right here that you can't do.
So I have done my ruling, and that is the ruling, and then we'll proceed to vet my Lord,
Chairman, please. Chairman, if you
judge nominee
Chairman, if you construed that to mean, if you construed that to mean an objection, which you are going to rule, I am sitting right before you. You cannot say that the horses are bolted, there's an empty stable. Stop it. This is democracy. Don't do what you are doing. I just got up for a second. They were calling me. You deliberately discharged Zenator. I kept quiet. I knew the traps you were setting. I knew what you were trying to do. Let's not do this ourselves. We are not helping democracy. If you construed our objection and the motion to be nothing like that, please, I'm right here. You can rule. Let us debate it. Let's vote.
So let's debate it.
Yes.
So allow me to debate it.
Sure, I'm happy that you will debate. Let's debate. He can't say he's ruling.
Yes.
You don't have the power to rule. Let's take it, and then you use your majority to vote against us. We'll be satisfied. So don't do what you're doing.
Yeah, please.
Honorable members, with all due respect, after the ruling by the chair, there will not be any debate that will be open. Honorable members, let us not make the attempt to create a scene when there is none, or there should be none. In my language, it is said that if your farm is not long, you need not go to the farm with a big water can. Decision has been taken, and we shall proceed to conduct the vetting. So, honourable members.
Chairman, please, you've made your point. I've
given you every opportunity.
But can I make a point? Yes, can I make a point? This is a two-sided house. I'm your equal opposite number. Can I also have my bite?
Well, I'm considering what you are doing to be an attempt to delay and derail the committee from doing its work. So we are proceeding to vet the nominee before us.
Chairman.
Clerk of the committee, I'll call upon you.
The clerk, you know the rules.
Accordingly.
That you, the clerks, know that in all situations, the committee is not a one-sided committee. The clerks, we don't want you to get into this matter. There has to be some consensus here. Don't rush to get into this matter. And we expect the clerk to Parliament to know his job.
Hereby directed to administer
we have a say.
oath.
The minority
go
must be
ahead
heard.
and
What the majority is doing is wrong. Public servant, don't get into this. It is not your duty. It is not your duty. You, parliamentary service, it is not what you are doing is wrong. When we were in power, you never allowed this. Parliamentary service, don't do what you are doing. You are not a partisan institution. You are supposed to be neutral. The ranking is here. Don't do what you're doing. Don't do what you're doing. Don't do what you're doing. Parliamentary service staff, don't do what you're doing. We must be heard. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. You are taking things too far. Listen and let's cooperate. What you are doing is not fair. Cooperate and let's do the right thing. Let's do the right thing.
Honorable Afenyo, please, Chairman, I beg you. Please. Oh, please. I beg, please. Afenyo, I beg you. You see, we are all acting pursuant to the standing orders. Indeed, during the deliberations, I was the one who instructed him to ask Speaker whether or not we needed to move a motion pursuant to Order 3, I think? Yes. For the suspension of the standing orders so that the waiver applies to all the nominees. And Speaker said clearly that he didn't think it was necessary to move a motion to suspend the relevant standing orders because the recall specifically indicates what the recall is for. And he, as Speaker, had given us clear instruction what he wanted us to do. And in any case, what we wanted to do had been captured in the business statement, which had been adopted by the House. On the basis of that, I asked him not to move the motion because Speaker had said it was unnecessary. You cannot come today and fault us on the basis of not moving the motion. You are questioning our professional capabilities. We did not move the motion because Speaker said it was unnecessary and that this recall is to consider the nominations, and because the recall is only for 5 days, we should have all the advertisements, you know, all those requirements waived, applied to everybody. I think that even for you as a minority leader, it will not be fair that you say that in the case of myself and Honorable Zaneto, because we are your colleagues in the House, you are willing to pat us on the back by, you know, waiving, and yet when it comes to the judges, you will not accept it. On what basis are you discriminating between us and the judges? If that's the case, I hand over back to you your approval so that we wait, and the same day that you are considering the judges, I will join them to be considered. That's what I will do, because it's not fair. We should treat each other fairly. Whether a member of a coordinated branch of government, the judiciary, or the executive, we need to treat everybody fairly. So I disagree with you. Secondly, on the authority of the chairperson of the committee, the chairperson is guided by the standing orders. And it says in order 268, general functions of a chairperson of a committee. He sits here as chairperson of the appointments committee, not as first deputy speaker. And it says that 2683, the chairperson of a committee shall maintain order at a meeting of the committee and decide on each question of order. You have raised an issue of order 3. Yes. No, order. No. To decide a question of order. A question of order is when somebody raises an objection on the basis of the order. Is that okay? That is what we mean when we say a question of order. But the first part of order relates to you being, rowdy, disorderly. So it says that the chairperson of a committee shall maintain order. So the maintenance of order relates to making sure that we all conduct ourselves properly before the committee, such as you cannot be speaking when the chairman has not given authorization to speak. That is disorderly conduct. Now, the second issue of order, the second issue of order is procedural questions raised based on our standing orders. So if anybody says, oh, you are violating our standing order, the chairperson is the person who is supposed to rule on it. So the chairperson is right in saying that this is not a matter for debate. You raise an objection, I give you the opportunity, you argue your case, I've listened to you, and I am ruling. And so he is perfectly within his authority under Standing Order 2683 to do this. So, my brother, this morning I said you are a nice man, you are a man of integrity. Just 30 minutes ago, you want me to withdraw my statements? We are pleading with you. These judges, if we treat them that way, we will not be fair. Honestly speaking, we will not be fair. Because it will look like we are self-serving as a parliament. We are willing to waive the rule for ourselves and our colleagues, and then not wait for them. We are willing to waive the rules for people who have been nominated to go and serve the president. But we are not willing to waive the rules so that people who are nominated to go and work with the Chief Justice, he too gets his people on time to work with. I don't think that is fair. That's discrimination. And for me, If you insist, I'll give you back your vetting this morning. And then, wait till the day that you are willing to vet them, then I'll join them to be vetted.
Honorable Minority Leader, you are pulling your microphone. I will give you just 5 minutes. It's now 1:48. Exactly 5 minutes. I will stop you.
Chairman, that's not the way to treat your ranking. That's not the way to treat your ranking. Honorable colleagues in the majority, we are only asking you to respect your own principles. Your principles in 2024 and nothing more. This argument of discrimination that you have discovered is again serving your convenience. I told the majority leader that he has a principle called jurikashi. When he's in trouble, he used takashi and somersault it into jurisprudence. So I call it jurikashi. What you just did is jurikashi. You and I know that there is no set power given to the chair to make a ruling. You know it. Now you say there are some general powers. I kept quiet, please. 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 You are not a member of this committee, so please be calm and let your seniors engage on an important matter. I have not mentioned a name. Please. Who in particular? No, but my colleagues are also there. Yes, but they shouldn't do that. Chairman, what is happening is unfair, it is improper, it lacks principle. All we want to say is that if you insist, because you are the majority, that we don't need any notice. The very things that you said when you were in opposition, they are no more relevant. And that under reset, you have set in place a new rule, which should be the new president. We are sorry. We cannot be part of it. And to the nominees, with greatest deference to you, we respect you, and we are not opposed to your nomination, but the process through which the majority is deciding to use is not known to the parliamentary jurisprudence that we all know. So, Chair, thank you very much.
Most grateful. Today, if you need water to wash your hand, I have a bottle of water for you.